Thailand. Now, Thailand obviously is very central to the Indo-China region. The other area is that I noticed Philippines not represented here as well. So Philippines is fairly significant in terms of the size. So what I can do is, after listening to all the other hosts, is that we could use the existing connections that we have with the Asia Economic Committees that we have and try to identify individuals, organizations, or NGOs that are willing to take on this challenge.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you very much indeed.
Hello. I'm Alejandro from Costa Rica. We noticed that Guatemala, which is the biggest country in Central America, is not part of GEW. We know great entrepreneurs in that country, and I think it would be easy to engage, and we are going to make the connections to get sure that Guatemala would be part of this GEW. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, from India?
Yeah, I'm Vishwanathan from India, BYSD. I would like to set the record straight in the sense there has been quite a few activities in India, and it has been reported here too, but I don't see it being reflected. In the sense, you can see almost so much has been sent out here. I'm not sure, I requested Mark also to check up what has really happened. We had a very active 20-year-old movement where we have done fair amount of whatever the various problems which many of people are facing here, we have gone through. Frankly, we feel like an elephant in a room. In the sense, a lot of these things we have seen, we have failed, we have passed, we have done new things, and now the government has started coming to us. Of course, India being a large country, we are more focused inside than outside. But we do realize our commitment to the world. We are a very active member of YBI, and some of our entrepreneurs past 2-3 years have been winners, global winners. This year he was a runner-up. And there are many things which are being done. Of course, we don't go about making a big band about it. And now, as I said, we have overcome a big issue of collaterals with banks with a new innovative procedure, which I mentioned in one of the earlier sessions. Plus, now the government has started coming to us. They are gaining faith on us. So the state government, Assam, which is one of the most difficult states in India, are wanting us to do the program, and we want to do a program in a very large scale, and a tremendous amount of money is being pumped in by the government on the faith with us. So there may be a part truth in the sense that we are not outward as much as we would like to be, but that is no fault of ours because our communications have come here. I've not got a feedback from Mark what has happened to the various things sent and to Brendan. So I don't know, maybe there is some communication gap maybe there. We are very active in entrepreneurship. We know our role in the world, and we would like to continue doing our good work. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah?
We know that...
Sorry, Giuliano, and then... Yeah?
Can he go first?
No,
it's okay.
that's fine. Please go,
Thank you.
Giuliano.
No, we know that Colombia has been struggling for the last, I think, couple of years on Global Entrepreneurship Week. We know that it's an endeavor operation there and that runs the week. I think that we have two things to do. First, on our side, not only Endeavor Brazil, but Argentina, Chile, we could try to help them on that. But also, I think Venezuela, I don't know if Angelo is here, no, could help a lot on developing, because Colombia has a very strong entrepreneurship ecosystem. It's about how to start.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. Learning from what you said, Jonathan, yesterday, when you talked about the criteria for global partners, and I think speaking on behalf of COMESA and the Secretary General of COMESA, as you know in your records, he endorsed as the patron for the GW through my office. We have the capacity through the Secretary General to write through the chambers of commerce and of course the SME associations in the 19 countries. For those countries that are not part of the GW, we can actually facilitate from the Secretary General And based on the proceedings of this meeting, I'm going to do a report. And one of the recommendations will be that it facilitates the regional program to make sure that the countries that are not participating out of the 19 countries, I think I can see that there are only about 7 countries from the COMESA region, they can actually be involved. But other than that, also taking advantage of the COMESA USAID partnership, USAID supports a lot of programs. And I think Thomas yesterday was talking about the Startup Africa. So from that context is here. From that context, we are able to structure a program easily. But also through the various ambassadors who are based in Zambia, who actually pay Catasco and reports to the Secretary General on issues of regional interest. So we have many fronts of involving these countries, both from the political side, but also from the private sector point of view. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thomas, do you want to comment on that right behind you, if we could? Right, that'd be great.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to say, obviously we've discussed already what State Department is doing, but I think the issue of expanding GEW in new markets or new nations, we actually could play a critical role in that space with the right countries, obviously, that the State Department has a good relationship with, because our ambassadors would be quite incentivized and would be very happy to kind of create a new movement in a country that wasn't there before, because they could kind of create a legacy for themselves in terms of bringing a creative initiative like GEW. So for new markets that you're thinking about, that if we have posters or embassies there, we would be very excited to push for it from the Washington side to make sure our ambassadors could push for it. I mean, one example I can give is that we have a strong relationship with IDB in the Caribbean region. And I see that there are some Caribbean representations here, but not all of them. So that's one area we can actually, it's the lowest hanging fruit for us in providing the expansion of GW in the Caribbean region. So I wanted to emphasize that I've heard already some suggestions that are floating around. Well, I'm taking notes of that, and for those of you who might have relationships on the ground in these new nations, let us know. We'll be more than happy to facilitate that.
Before we go, I just want to, the good news is that Thomas and I know each other pretty well, and so he doesn't mind me asking in his presence an irreverent question. But I want to make sure you're all clear, because this team here is exclusively focused on global. Our loyalties are to you. We're not, Brendan and I don't spend any time thinking about what's happening in the United States. And I want to stress that the inclusion of the U.S. State Department is not designed to send a message that, we're having any kind of Americanization of Global Entrepreneurship Week. And I want to say that because I hope that the example that the State Department is setting, I want to make sure it's completely clear that if there are other major powers, such as China, such as Japan, such as Canada, Brazil, some of the India, some of the countries that are really very, very engaged around the world with their own programs, and not to mention, of course, the United Kingdom, we really want to encourage their diplomatic communities to be thinking along the same lines. So I just want to make sure I've sent a message that, if you think that there would be interest, I know the British High Commission has been extremely helpful in this regard in many countries, and I know, and obviously the Foreign Office, but I think if there are other nations that feel like that this could also be a way to do this, I want to make sure we're very open and encouraging of you taking that direction. Okay, so we had another idea over here.
I'm Mary from Uganda, and we want to pledge, along with the East African community countries, to reach out to Southern Sudan, the youngest country. Great.
Okay, so actually...
You said Southern Sudan. Thank you. It's one of the first times we've heard Southern Sudan at the Congress, so, yeah.
The other day we were talking with my colleague from Latvia, but only 2 countries from the Baltic are represented here, but Estonia is missing from the region, so it would be really good, to have just all countries, since we are very small and we do quite a lot of cooperation and, in promoting entrepreneurial initiatives in the region. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Yeah. I was hoping that Jad might raise his hand again, because I'm going to challenge you, Jad, to tell you that you realize that we look to the UAE for great leadership in your part of the world, and yet We haven't been able to capture the imagination and excitement of Kuwait and Qatar, and so while we have the involvement of Saudi Arabia, we wanted to know whether you want to comment on that.
I just want to, I'm not sure if there's anyone from Germany today, but I must say that the German embassy has been very supportive for us at the UAE. They ran over 3 functions this year. They focused on female entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship with the youth, and advanced entrepreneurship, and they were extremely supportive. So I don't know if there's any delegates from Germany, but I think it must be on the portfolio of the embassy's strategic policy to look onto entrepreneurship. So maybe that's something we can look into as well. No, no one from Germany.
He's here. He's here.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
With regards to your question,
I'm sorry, I put you on the spot.
I know. I guess in the region there's many challenges and there's many political agendas. Reaching out to countries in the region can be a bit of a challenge. We are trying our very best, but sometimes we are faced with political barriers, especially with the recent uprising in the region. It's been a major challenge, but we're going to keep on trying, Jonathan.
Great. Well, we appreciate that, and I would like to take this opportunity to mention that we will be hearing from, or we will be talking about another initiative in the UAE a little bit later today that will be happening as part of Global Entrepreneurship Week. But I do want to stress that when you feel like there's a political challenge, either internally or in terms of the nation's political circumstances, why you can't make a direct ask or introduction, one of the things you can always do is set a great example and make sure that that neighbor of yours sees that example, whether it's another Gulf region country or whether it's somebody that you have an affinity with because of language. So we want to really encourage you. You can sometimes be creative about that. So great, thank you, Jad. I appreciate that. Any more before we adjourn this conversation? One more in the back here. Oh, hello. From Oman. Do you mind standing up?
Yeah, this is Aziza from Oman, and I would like to say that I have a contact in Yemen, our neighbor, and I have a contact in Qatar as well. So I think they are also interested to have GEW.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. We have any more before we move on? Okay, a couple more over here. One over here, and then we're going to come from.
Hello, everybody. My name is Juan Francisco. I'm from Ecuador. We weren't aware about the Colombians having some kind of trouble, and we indeed have some contacts there, especially Universidad de los Andes, which is one of the most important universities in Colombia. So we definitely help in that. And also we noticed that the Peruvians weren't here as well. So actually those are our 2 countries that are in our boundaries. So we'll definitely help in that as well.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes?
I just wanted